Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we have this fuel tanker that we are going to be landing on Minmus. Normally we'd be landing it by our base, which is currently over here, but we're landing it kind of on the other side of the world because we are running into substantial bugs, which is unfortunate, to be sure. I'm just going to burn this now. It's an inclination change. It kinda doesn't matter. Good enough? Good enough. Fantastic. Once we reach about here, or so, we'll do a retrograde burn, and that's too much of a retrograde burn. We'll go something like this. Should be fine. I want to do it a little sooner than this, though. Right around here will be good. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and head over towards that maneuver node. We can actually turn reasonably quickly now that this fuel tank is almost empty, which is nice. I mean, kinda quickly. We're going up, but not really going over at all. I'm gonna go ahead and freeze those physics, and then we'll head over. Yeah, that's a little exciting. We are definitely struggling to get over there, but I think it's okay. So we have a burn time of 14 seconds, so naturally we want to do this at T-minus 7 seconds. And realistically, this is just going to be a surface retrograde burn. So let's just head to retrograde in surface mode. It's going to be a little bit before we want to do this burn. I am going to go ahead and put a marker here for when we want to start the burn. So, right about T-minus 7 seconds from there, but it is going to be a purely retrograde burn. Retrograde is going to move towards the maneuver node, so maybe we should be on the maneuver node. This poor reaction wheel. I'm asking it to do way more than it should. I'm going to physics warp this turn. And then we're going to time warp forward a little bit. Okay, we're there. So now we're going to time warp to about T-minus 7 seconds. We can just about see the flats. In fact, these are the flats we're aiming for. It may not look very flat, but trust me, it's flat. Okay, we're going to keep going a little bit. I want to be burning now, but the node tells me otherwise, and I trust the node. So we're going to be burning in about 3 seconds. Now. And we're just going to sit on surface retrograde. I don't actually care about this maneuver node. Okay. Come on. This is some exciting stuff. Oh, we're not heading towards the retrograde node. That would help. I'm going to freeze the physics, and then we're going to start heading over towards that node. And once we ditch this, we become much more maneuverable, which we've only got 115 meters per second left in it. Maybe I should go ahead and ditch it now. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Excellent. So let's just get right here. We're gonna need to extend our legs here very shortly. We're still 15 kilometers above the surface right now. And the reason we're so high is because we were going up over this, as well as we were over this high point before, and now we're over the lowest possible point. So I'm just going to go ahead and burn off our horizontal speed here and try to push this node a little bit. There we go. That should be good enough. We'll head back towards vertical now. And we are just gently falling down. And I'm going to quick save and let it fall for a little bit. In fact, we have a little bit of horizontal speed still. I'm going to just do that. I'd like to come over here a little bit, over to the right, if it lets me. There we go. That looks decent. Now there's still just a little bit of southward drift. So let's go ahead and burn that off of here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and quick save again, and we've still got a fair amount of horizontal speed, actually. A retrograde burn would look about like that at this point. And I think that's fine. We want to burn this at T-minus 7 seconds, so we're going to use the rest of the time for orientation. 50 meters per second, that's a little extreme. But okay, whatever. This just doesn't feel right. I don't know. We're now falling straight down, but it seems to me like our retrograde node is really off. This is weird. Do we have horizontal speed? It kind of feels like we do. I don't know, maybe we don't. We're going that way, aren't we? I feel like we are. Okay, well, let's go ahead and orient to the retrograde node. And we're going to start burning off our speed here pretty soon. I mean, our thrust to weight is way higher here than it was on the moon, so we don't have to do this super quick. We can do this at like 3 kilometers above the surface. I mean, I don't really care where in this flat we touch down, so it's fine. We're going to touch down in the flat. Two more kilometers to drop. Make that 1 more kilometer to drop. And we should be able to initiate this burn basically now. We'll just decelerate pretty substantially here. Currently targeting about 20 meters per second. I'm going to go ahead and drop our throttle. And drop it a little further. And drop it a little further. This does not require much thrust at all. Okay. As I said, we're targeting 20 meters per second for right now in this descent. You can see how small Minmus is with how curved this flat portion is, even 1 kilometer up. Minmus is a tiny little snowball. Okay, we're at about 1 kilometer, so we should be targeting about 10 meters per second right now. So I'm throttling up a tiny amount, but I'm fine with dropping at about this speed. Excellent. The target is going to be shifting to 5 meters per second very soon. But we're not quite there yet, so I'm going to throttle down a bit. We're still decelerating. I'd actually rather be accelerating right now. And I'll target 5 meters per second at 250 meters. That should be fine. Okay, we can start decelerating a bit. $350 meters there. I'm going to throttle up a little more. 300. There's 250. We're targeting 5 meters per second, so I've throttled up a little more. Okay, throttling back down. We can see our shadow coming in nicely here. We're about 130 meters up, so I'm going to throttle up a little bit. I want to be just gently decelerating right now. 4 meters per second. And this is a fine burn trajectory, I think. We're at 3.5. At 40 meters up. 3 meters per second at 30 meters up. I'm going to throttle up a little bit. And there we go. That was a beautiful landing. I liked that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is exactly like we did on Moon and deploy our drills. I'm also going to go ahead and deploy our thermal systems. There we go. Deploy all the drills. And get them started. We should have no heat issues. And we need a total of 750 units of ore in this vessel. However, these tanks are pretty close to full, so I think I'm just going to fill them first. Oh, the Convertitron's overheating. Okay. Well, that's fine. I'm not concerned about the Convertitron overheating, because this will fill up eventually. I hope. I'm actually going to stop it for now, and we're just going to let these tanks fill up a little bit. Okay, let's jump on back to the Space Center. And we'll decide what we're going to do next. We have three major missions. I mean, one of them's not really super major. We have 3 missions really left here, not counting finishing our 2 ore tanker missions, which are not done. So we need to dock 2 vessels in orbit around Kerbal, and we need to position a satellite in an equatorial orbit of the Moon, and we need to bring a green sandstone back with us. That's going to be interesting. I mean, we should be able to find one of them where we have Kerbals right now. That said, the base is going to shake itself to pieces the moment we load it, because of that physics kraken that's been introduced. So that's an interesting conundrum. I think we're going to do these 2 first, and then we're going to go ahead and do this. I don't know how we're going to do it just yet, but we're going to do this after that, and then, hopefully, we'll have extracted enough ore from the Moon and Minmus to bring these back, and then we'll call it good on this series. that's kind of the plan going forward, but I do need to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead, wow. I haven't messed that up in a long time. I'm going to go ahead and do that and put that cut in. And next episode, we are probably going to do this first, which won't be particularly interesting, but after that, we're going to start docking 2 vessels, and that'll be a little bit more interesting, to be sure. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time.